And welcome to Little Black Book, you know what time it is. Hey, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for the notification of the what uploads, baby. And for those of you who are returnees, you ain't got the mean no rolls. Okay, that note wasn't all right, but don't worry about that. We'll get it next time. All right, cool. We're talking to you guys today about are we gonna cancel Nella Rose? Oh. Double punishment. So we're going to be talking to you guys. So I want to just kind of talk to you guys about the recent chain of events that happened with UK Twitter, where a few influencers were mentioned to have said some colorist tweets in the past, and they've been dragged up by people, right? And what I saw in the aftermath was I saw that certain people got made to be scapegoats, i.e. Nella Rose. Hence why this video is called Nella Rose. And what I saw was what I called a double punishment, in the sense of, I understand that this tweet that she put out was colorist at the time, but for me, she's one of the. She was not number one. She was not the only one that had tweets at this time. There was Nella Rose. There was Aaliyah Marie B. There was Bella, whatever, something, the light skinned girl that was there. There was NSG. There was Tion Wayne. There was Aloni. There was other people that were there who were doing these kind of tweets as well. So Nella Rose wasn't the only one. Here's my issue though. Right, is that the men that were included, just like the last time this happened, right, when people dragged up tweets, the men who were doing it, Early Arlie or whatever, her boyfriend or whatever, they didn't get dragged the same way. So the way that people were trying to come for Nella to make sure that she loses the bag concerned me. Because it made me realize this wasn't about now her tweets. This was about doubly punishing the dark-skinned women again. You see, the whole thing is this: if Nella Rose gets punished more than when Steph London and Maya Jama did the exact same thing, then we have seen colorism work effectively twice. You see, they made colorist tweets earlier on, I think it was like last year, whatever, made colorist tweets and they got dragged up. And they were dragged a little bit, right? But their opportunities didn't stop. Maya Jama's opportunities didn't stop, right? She's still getting opportunities now. They're not cancelling her bag. She's still living in her bag nicely. And I ain't got no problem. You said it in the past. You've grown past it. Okay, cool. Here's the thing. Now Nella Rose is part of the group of people that had said it. It seemed like it was only Nella Rose that said something. It seemed like only Nella Rose was getting the full swipe of everything. And why? Because she's also a dark-skinned female. Now, when I talk about colorism, yes, I believe that women. It's a bit like racism, right? We say that black people can't really be racist. Why? Because they don't hold power, right? So they can't necessarily actually be racist. Although we can say some stuff which is I would class as being racist in some sense. But because the true nature of what racism is that you must hold a systematic power as well alongside it, you can't truly be racist. Well, I want to say the same thing for colorism. You are a black female. Necessarily, you can't necessarily be the fullest true extent of colorism. What we are seeing is an internalization from what Nella Rose had said, and then there was a reaction to that. She didn't want to be bullied, so she turned into a bit of a bully, right? And that's what I'm saying. It's the same way we say about racism that black people technically can't be racist because we don't hold power. It's the exact same way black women technically couldn't be colorist. The reason why I'm saying that is because she wasn't insulting black men. Did you notice? When she was saying colorist stuff, it wasn't against black men. And I already told you in another video that black men, in comparison to black women, black men are in a position of power. That is why colorism stems from them and comes onto black women. Colorism also has its root in attraction. So now, because men choose women, oftentimes, now men impose their standard onto women. Right? And because that happens, what happens is this: now when men are looking at women, their preference changes, right? Their level of attraction changes. They start commenting on the physical appearance of a woman, and now what happens? The women who obviously, and the way that makeup of women is that they have a lot of pride in their physical appearance, yeah? A lot of pride in their physical appearance, right? And there's a lot of pride in that because of the way that God made them. That's just how they are. You know, they beautify themselves. That's how God made them. We're not discussing that. We're not breaking that. So now, when your strength, a lot of it, especially for women, is tied into your features and your looks, right? And the man comes along and trashes your features. You've got two choices: you become a victim, or you got three. You become a victim, you ignore it and stand strong, or you become part of the predator who's also doing the same thing in order to fit in. And I said this about psychology, that the Ash conformity, right, means that people join in to conform. Now the consensus of men, the black men, that are saying that black women are ugly, they're not nice, they look like monkeys, their weaves are stinking, their bootios, all these kind of things that are being said, right? They're saying these things at a time when there was a lot, and these things were being said as humor. Yeah? Now, when that's going and getting RTs, let me tell you something, especially about Twitter at that time, let me tell you something about Twitter. Twitter weren't no joke at that time. Anybody could catch corn. It didn't matter who you were, you could catch corn. At that time, it was a level playing field. There was none of this infamous people. People were becoming infamous, but they weren't infamous yet. But through the corn and the cussing and the insults towards black women, a lot of men built their empire. And a lot of women built their empire off these jokes too. Do you understand? So, there was victims in this. And Nella Rose ends up being a victim in this because the way that she's internalized some of these things, she didn't want to be a victim, so she decided to join them, right? And I'm not saying it's right, I'm just letting you know the psychology of this. That's what I'm saying, that can women really truly be colorist when you are a black woman yourself and the colorism is coming against you? Everything that she was insulting was actually something that she was becoming. Now this is very important. This is very, very important, because the reason why I'm saying this is because the sole accountability seemed to be, especially around social media, to land on Nella Rose's head. People were talking about cancelling Nella Rose. I'm looking at them like, well, are you going to cancel NSG? Are you going to cancel Tion Wayne? Are you going to cancel Aloni? Are you going to, no one else, but the whole thing fell on Nella Rose's head. And so I started to realize that, okay, if she gets punished more than Maya Jama and Stefflon Don in the past, this is what we call a double punishment. And then you're holding her to a higher standard than you would of Stefflon Don and Maya Jama. And actually then you become part of the colorist scheme. So the moment we try to cancel Nella Rose, before we've cancelled Stefflon Don and Maya Jama, you've actually become a colorist yourself. Because now what you're saying is, because they're light skinned, they can get away with it. Right? And someone will say, oh, well, they have a different audience. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. Are you cancelling them or not? Because if you're not cancelling them, we're not cancelling Nella Rose at the same time either. I personally don't want to cancel anybody, but do you know what I'm saying? And so it falls on the black woman's head again. Even some of the heat that was coming, it was coming for Nella Rose, Aaliyah B. Marie, and it came for Aloni, and also the girl that was light skinned as well. So predominantly the heat came for women, not for the men. So who was getting on Tion Wayne's ass? Who was on his ass? I didn't see nobody. Who was on NSG's ass? Yeah, there were other people making jokes that and I think the only one that got really trashed was early Ali, what's her name, Ali or whatever her name is. But it's only because her cakes were trash. But other than that fact, and because she was light skinned, I think people, and that, again, this is what I'm talking about. Be careful when we're trying to do something that we don't become we don't become what we say we don't want to. We don't become what we're saying that people shouldn't be. Yeah. Now people are jumping on early Ali's girlfriend, but she's not the one that is being colorist. Her boyfriend was. You understand? Like, why are you that? So then why are we now turning against her? Blood, turn against her man. You understand? Don't turn against her, blood. You know what I'm saying? And then now everyone started cussing it. Listen, the cakes, yeah? Like, you know, people then start insulting the cake and everything. It's like, bruv, like, the very thing that you're trying to do and trying to pursue justice, right, is actually wrapped in vengeance and wrapped in actually, this is why God says our righteousness is not his. Like, our anger and our righteous anger isn't his, because it doesn't land squarely on the thing it should. We pick and choose how we want to do this. And so I really want to just to kind of stress that for you guys, that look, the black woman shouldn't suffer twice. Yeah, cancelling her, making Nella Rose lose bags of finances or opportunities. It shouldn't be the case. Let me tell you something. I know she said what she said, but let me tell you something. As she's also growing and taking it further, she's also a dark-skinned woman. As she's breaking barriers, whatever she has said in the past, she's actually opening the door for the rest of us who are dark-skinned. It's sad to say, but yes, it's what's happening. So when you tear her down, you're doing the white man's job. You're doing the white man's job for him. As you tear Nella Rose down, thinking that because she did some colorist tweets when she was 12 or 13, what you're actually doing now is the fact that she's in a position of power, in a place where she's actually opening doors. All you're doing is tearing her down, and then you're losing your opportunity. Because at the end of the day, she's actually representing us. At the end of the day, do you understand? Rather, this should be a case of education. Like, listen, okay, cool. Does she still have the same mindset? If she doesn't have the same mindset, why am I still trying to pull you down? Do you understand? Like, blood. You know what I mean? And some people trying to put it on the same level as murder and stuff. It's not the same as murder, blood. You know, so let's stop that, fam. It's not the same as murder. Please don't put it on the same level as murder. Don't put it on the same level as rape. Someone doing it in the past. Don't put it on those levels. Yeah, because those are heinous crimes that somebody's not been, there's not been sorted out for. And I think the most important thing is that, I think this, as well as an apology, I think anybody who gets caught in that should become part of a process where they're now providing a platform for other dark-skinned people. That's all I ever ask. I think an apology is good, but you should become a platform where you speak and you begin to educate people on how wrong it is to be colorist. And then we can move forward. So yeah, I just had to explain that, listen, that cancelling Nella Rose actually cancels you. If you're a dark-skinned person, cancelling Nella Rose cancels you because she's a burning bright star in somewhere where we have not gone to as of yet. She's in spaces where we haven't occupied as of yet. And if she's not of that same mindset, of a colorist mindset as she was before, fantastic. Because then now, fam, we've got somebody who actually is I believe a good role model for, because I've not heard her say it again. It was in the past, and some people were saying mad things. But the door opens for other dark-skinned people. And I don't think you realise that. So, yeah, be careful who you cancel, because it can cancel your doors and your opportunities. So, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Click on that bell button for notifications of uploads. I appreciate you guys. Blue.